Hey everybody, how we doing today? So I lost my new GoPro and the pole. So if you watched a couple of videos ago, I just started using that GoPro 7 Black for my underwater because I got that new dive mask with the mount because I wanted to get that 4K, use that image stabilization that 7 Black had and get that really good quality videos because I wanted to start doing more or less watch me reel into fish videos and more in-depth kind of scenic but also more informative and get those higher angles and underwater footage and be able to kind of show you the structure underneath that I'm looking for when I'm looking for fishing spots and of actual fish roaming around and stuff in their natural environment. So I wanted to start using that. Then I ran into problems with the just using the camera by itself in the water, and it was just changing the settings on its own. So that day I ordered the dive case for that black one. So I got that in last night. So I assembled it. You have to take the lens off the GoPro in order to use it. Set it all up. I put a safety cable on it. So in case the camera unscrewed off and fell off the pole, it was still tied to the pole so I wouldn't lose it that way because I was always freaking out about that. So I did that and got all ready, and I figured I'd go out to one of my honey holes and do some filming, just me doing that high behind me over angle casting, cooking a fish, fighting it, landing it, and then just kind of some overview of my honey hole of the fish and then underneath footage. And that's what the day was about. So I went out there, fish was there. If you saw yesterday's video, you'll see I just did all my normal filming with on the head camera, and you'll see me trying to use the stick camera all throughout there, and got a ton of footage. I caught the fish right off the bat, so that was good. Then I was getting just a ton of footage because there was hundreds of tarpon in there, a bunch of schools of redfish. I was getting this great overhanging. So they let me get right up to where they're at, and they're just swimming back and forth. So I was getting it right above the water looking down. I was getting underneath the water, and they're young and dumb, so they're coming up the camera and like, woohoo, I'm on camera, and just giving me all this footage. And then I had so much, I was like, I'm done for the day. And the sun was still, it was like an hour and a half I was out there. Usually I'm out there until dark, but I was like, screw it, I'm gonna go home early. So I headed back, and I got to about a quarter mile from the launch, and on the way back I'm kind of always thinking about how I'm going to lay out the video with the filmage that I've got. So I kind of have it placed there so it's a little more efficient when I'm cutting and setting it up. And I figured, okay, what I'll do is just like maybe do like a 30-minute video. I'll do like 5 minutes of me doing the fishing stuff, and then 25 minutes of all this footage of just 4K looking at all these tarpon, just schools of them swimming around, and this underwater footage with them close-ups coming and looking at the camera, and redfish and all this stuff, and just like basically that fishbowl aquarium view. And I was like, oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, and figured out a title and the layouts and stuff. And I started thinking, oh, did I power off that camera? Because those things kind of overheat when you just leave them running. So I'll take a look back, and like, oh no, there was just an empty hole in one of my rod holders where the camera was. I'm like, oh my god, it fell off. Turn around, 5-6 miles back to the fishing spot. The sun had already set and it was already dark. I'm looking around, it's pretty wavy and choppy out there, and every little white cap was like, oh, is that it? And got out to my spot, totally pitch black dark. I got my headlamp, just looking in the water, looking at the mangroves, and it's just like I could see this much in that dark pitch black. And then I just didn't find it. I was just so pissed off when I got home. Then today I figured I'm going to go back out there. I kind of think I know the area where it might have fell off because I was leaving that spot and then I heard a thump thump, and which is odd because I'm on a kayak on top of water. Where am I getting thumps from? And then I briefly looked back to make sure nothing fell off. I was thinking like my bucket fell over or something. And just got back, didn't see anything, just water, just quick look, and then I was, boom, gone, took off. So I kind of knew the area where that happened. And then I went back, figured I'd go back to that spot, and then just looked around. Underneath was dark, and so I figured I missed it. So today I'm gonna go back out there. Hopefully it's there. My biggest chance is I don't know if that setup sinks right away, like it just boom, and just goes straight down with adding that dive case, and it's just sitting where I think I lost it. If it floated, who knows where. It could be Cuba or Texas, because there's a lot of wind, there's a lot of current, especially if it gets out in that main channel there. It's just ripping through there, so that'll be gone. There's a small chance that also if it floats, and if it was back in that kind of pocketed area and then it got sucked into the mangroves, which is, there's a 15% chance that it could happen, and it got pushed into the mangroves and not taken out into the open water and just kind of got lodged into the back there. So that's why today I'm kind of waiting for the dropping tide, so when I get out there it'll be lower tide, so one, I could see better on the flats, but then I could also see underneath the mangroves and see way back in there, just in case that floating thing happened. That's my only chances, but that's the plan for today. I'm going to head back there and just hopefully find it. So that makes my second biggest loss. My number one loss, financial loss while fishing, was my jigging setup, which is a Shimano Travala extra heavy with a Shimano Torium 16, a reel, all decked out, braided line, all that stuff. Number two will be this GoPro 7 Black. I just got that dive case for it. Battery, memory card, that aluminum pole I've had for like 5 years. It still works perfect because it's aluminum with just plastic components, so it doesn't get affected by corrosion, so it just works smooth. Oh, I'd be so pissed if I lose that. Number three was some Costa Del Mar sunglasses. Coming back nighttime, I ended up taking them off, just having on my lap. I forgot about them, and I think they just fell overboard. Number four, I had an actual fishing life vest, one of the nicer ones. Lost that coming back from the backcountry in Key West. I wasn't wearing it, so it just floated away. Had a Pelican fishing paddle, which was a real nice one. Had that measuring tape on it, and really good one. But I had actually found that one, so losing it kind of just, it was just a really nice one, but kind of bummer I lost it. Number six was my complete quick release anchor system. I lost that right at the outlet of the Geiger Key Boaters channel there. I set it on top of my 5-gallon bucket with other stuff and below it, so it was top heavy, and it just fell over the side, and I didn't, that one I heard it, but I didn't look back. I remember that, so I knew where I lost it, but I didn't know until I was out on the reef already where I needed the anchor, and like, oh, hey, I lost my anchor. Number seven was I lost about 3 of my 8-foot stakeout poles. When I first started selling them, I was just losing them every week. It was just a weird thing. They sink on their own, so I think I sunk one, then I put a float on it, but just a little bit of a float on the top, so it would just sink down, and then it was so small I didn't know where I lost it and I couldn't see it again. And the third one, I think I was just lost it at some point somewhere. I just didn't have a clue where it would be. It was a yoga seat pad. I use those on my kayak, so it kind of keeps me out of the water. Those nice step up ones. And then I originally started with the black one so it wouldn't stick out, but then I get back fishing at nighttime and my seat is black, so I don't see it when I'm unloading my gear. So left it on there, put my kayak up, go on the 7 Mile bridge, and phew, flies away. Because I lost that one about a week before, but I drove back and I saw it on the 7 Mile bridge, so I parked and walked the 7 Mile bridge, got it, and I was all happy about that, and then lost it again. And then number 9 was a top spot map. I just kind of blew off because I just had it sitting on one of my 5-gallon buckets, and it just catches air and just flew out, so lost that. And number 10 would be probably about 100 scissors, knives, and pliers that I'm just kind of like bloop, on the side because I have my little sleeves on the side where I keep them. But those are my most expensive plus $20 losing while fishing financial losses. But anyways, we're going to go head out now and see if I could find that thing. It would be so good. It'd make me so happy. I give myself 46% chance I might be able to find it. So let's head on out there. Even though it's kind of painful of my loss, I still take comfort in knowing that it's better than this guy. This guy's been out here for a little while. I don't know if this is an old Cuba boat or not. It's got markings, but yeah, they're stuck. They're not going anywhere, especially since they got the drive in the bottom there. Oh well, we mosey on. Recovery time. My baby is lost. How sad it is. It's windy today and it's choppy out there, and every chop reminds me of, oh, is that it? That's how bad it sucks. Yeah, I'm thinking this is an old Cuba boat. People making the run. This is pretty high class for one of the Cuban boats, but bet you could bring a bunch of people. Usually because of all the fuel cans and stuff. Rough. Well, all the tarpon and redfish are right inside there, but I am not seeing that pole. And the more sickening part of it is that as I was pushing on this real low tide, it's actually low tide right now, I hit a couple of spots where I got that bump, the thump, which I thought was the pole hitting the kayak and falling over, but I have a feeling it was just me hitting something on the bottom, which means I think I probably lost it when I hit the open water and it started getting bouncy out there, especially with on the motor, and then it eventually just started rocking and fell over, which means I'm screwed, because if it fell and sank, I'm not going to find it, and if it fell over and floated, it could be in Cuba now. So I'm going to still do some cruising around. I might do some fishing while I'm here, and then I want to work the edges, not for fish, but just in case the camera washed in here. When I was here, the tide was going that way, so it would have pushed it out into the open water. But I would hope if I fell off inside here, it would have either sunk straight down in the shallow water, or it floated and got caught in the mangroves. So I came out purposefully at low tide, tarpon there, just so I could see underneath there. So not looking good. Heck, it could have fallen in this grass, then overnight it would have just got covered. I'm just looking for it's aluminum tubes, so that's the only thing I think will stick out. Got the camera on one side, and then I've got that dark gray insulation on the handle part, and then a black bicycle handle on it. Not seeing it. That stick right there gave me joy for about a second, or maybe like a 1/16 of a second. Probably more like a 1/64 of a second. I was happy. A little bit too much dirt and grime on it for my camera to be there, since it's only less than 12 hours. Oh, there's another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. Look at all the cameras everywhere. Sad. 1/64 of a second of happiness. Ooh, there's another one. That's not it. How do you get a perfectly straight stick? Oh. Another 1/64 of a second of happiness. Alright, so now the only thing I've got left, now we're into Hail Mary zone, was that it fell out inside the protected channel. The tide was running out. It floated, and then it wrapped around and got caught in one of the edges here. So I'm just going to work this edge and then along the channel where I think I lost, where I wish I lost it, and then I'm going to go to the main channel right along the edge looking. I couldn't do it earlier because it was too shallow, but I have a feeling I was out in the middle when I lost it, and if it sank, who knows where it's at. If it floated, who knows where it's at, because the tide was going ripping that way at 8 o'clock last night when I lost it, and then it had all night, so it went through 3 tide cycles. So if it's floating, who knows where it's at. We're down to 3.4% chance of finding it. All right, back to it. That made my heart skip a beat, but no, just a stick stuck in the water. All right, we're gonna take a quick break from our camera pole searching, catch a quick tarpon, and get back to looking. Actually, I think I'm gonna call it quits so I can get home and order on Amazon. There it is, boys. I'm just a little, oh. He's gonna come back and get it. Oh. He was a little one. Oh, there's a shark there. Get the shark, get the shark. All right, these are a little better ones. Oh. There it is. Yeah, that's definitely a better one. There we go. Our quick tarpon break. So you would have this beautiful overhead angle shot, 10 feet in the air. You'd be able to see the deeper vision of into the water, that tarpon coming out. Oh man. All in 4K. Oh, it would have been beautiful. Actually, I did have that one, but it wasn't as big as this one. This is a nice little teenager. Maybe not even quite teenager size. Those sharks are tearing it up. Hey, you better watch out, dude. There's sharks around. A couple of his buddies. What you doing? Why y'all swimming all crazy like that? You're throwing off the vibe. Just keeping a light grip on the line. It jumps, I let go. Keep the rod tip bent at all times. Give him line when he surges. Keep pressure, but not too much pressure. Keep that rod opposite direction he's going. Don't get too much of an angle on the rod. Oh man, I want my camera pole. I've got so many videos set up for that camera with the housing, some 4K action. I was just getting going with it, lost it, dang it. All right, put a little bit more pressure. If you jump off, you jump off. I gotta go. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna get that new kit ordered. Gotta break his spirit or break my leader, whichever comes first. Just not my rod tip. I can't afford any more losses. Just stop, for the love of God. I got it Amazon. Oh. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. Oh, that's okay. Jump. There we go. Alrighty. Man, you wore me out. Nice sizer. On a little 8-weight. Don't stick me in the hook. Don't hook me. Stop it. I just want my Schminnow back. And then you can go back home and tell your friends you got whooped. You got whooped by Steve. That's the Schminnow there. A little bit wrecked. Gurgler. Custom made. Handmade by me. Someone else's design. Oh, I see a scale down there. I must have lost one of these scales. Alright. There you go. Hand release. Oh, there he goes. Oh. I would still rather have my camera than caught that tarpon. I'm still sad. Alright. I tried. It looks like it's just going to be a donation to Davy Jones' locker. Bam! But anyways, this looks like it's going to end up being my second most expensive loss. My first being a Travala jigging rod with a Shimano Torium reel. I had that. I was reeling in a fish on one side and I had a bait dangling over on the other side with the rod just lying there, and it bam, took it down and the rod just flicked up and zoom. And I watched it go down. At least I got to see that one go down. This one, I have no clue. I have a feeling I made it out to the wide open waters where that pelican is probably sitting on it. And then the tide is cranking. It was late last night and it could be anywhere now. But for those that want to know, like, well, why didn't you put a float on it? Why didn't you have like a electronic GPS on it? Why don't you hire a security guard for it? Basically, the reason why is I did have a float kind of towards the handle part. I had the handle, a bicycle grip handlebar type thing on the end of it. And then before, I had the cheap thin tube rod holders on this. But then me wanting to be overly safe, I figured I better update that. So when I did the new kayak, I also upgraded these. I put the thick wall PCV, put the stainless steel wraps on them, got them dual bolted. I've got them latched on through an eye bolt. So I was worried because I have each rod holder's like 400 bucks. But the problem with it was that the other rod holders, that camera grip would slide all the way down with just dropping it in there. This one, because of the thicker diameter, I had to force it in order to get it to go all the way through. Then when I was doing all that filming, because the day was just going to be about the above ground, the below water, 4K, tarpon, redfish everywhere. They were coming up to the camera, looking at it. And then I wanted it close to me, and as I was moving around, so I just stuck it barely the tip into the top there so I could just pull it out right away and move it wherever I needed to. But then after that I didn't use it, and then I packed up and I left, and it was just barely in there. So I think when I got out here, hit the waves, it just vibrated and just fell over. Then with the motor running, I couldn't hear it. That's what I was thinking. I lost it in there when I heard those two clunks, but as soon as I came in there, I hit some of the wood logs that are underneath the water, and it was that same thing. I thumped it on the front, and then my rudder hit it and thumped it again. Felt just like I felt yesterday. Then I was like, that's what it was. It wasn't that camera falling back and hitting the kayak and bouncing over and instantly sinking, because I looked back and I didn't see anything floating. So that wasn't it. It was basically, I must have gone out to the open water on the way back, and then it just fell over the side, and I just can't hear it because of the motor. Oh well, I'm gonna head home. Boom, thank you Patreon supporters. That's how that money works. I keep that money to do this kind of stuff. I lose stuff, gotta replace it, gotta have it. I've got a bunch of videos planned using that underwater pole unit, so I gotta have it. So I should have it by this weekend through Amazon. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you next video. Bye.